Hey, how's everybody doing? Well, we've been off for a little bit, took a little bit of time out, and we're back here. Oh, actually, it's New Year's Eve here, so I think it's kind of an appropriate time to perhaps throw in a video. Pay attention, as he says. Okay, I wanted to do this one, but I wanted to do it in a little bit of a different way. It's kind of a scenario here where in the coming year, I know everybody's going to hear a lot of good news, a lot of positivity, a lot of prophecies, and a lot of predictions and everything else. But based on my experience from the past few years and observing the collective, that's meaning people in the collective, and especially in the spiritual community, the soulmate community, the twin flame community, everyone, I'm going to say this with a whole lot of conviction and with some seriousness behind what I'm about to say. One needs to be very, very careful at the present stage of consciousness that you exist in your physical body at the present time as to what you think about repetitiously, or what is the prime focus of your attention, so to speak. And the reason that I'm saying that is, as many of you may have noticed in the past, a great many of us, a mass amount of the population, has gone through a heart center awakening. One of the classic symptoms that take place during the first of the activation is people go through a lot of chaos, a lot of change, a lot of challenges because of the heart center activation. Example, case in point, their present relationship falls apart, their career is no longer functional for them, they go through a lot of mental and emotional changes, none of which, all of you I think would agree with me, do any of us seem to have any control of. And somewhere along the way, we notice that we have changed, that in many cases, a lot of the very rigid belief systems or core functions of ourselves, if we can put it that way, have changed and evolved, and we're not so locked in to many of these old belief systems. Hence, what has possibly taken place is you have noticed that your personality has changed. One of the things that I have always said, and I will say again today, is the end result of spiritual awakening and spiritual evolution and growth is the evolution of consciousness. But the evolution of consciousness in you as an individual cannot take place unless the personality that resides within your physical body, being the emissary or the, shall we say, focal point of the direction of your soul essence in three-dimensional reality, has a chance to modify itself, and the two of you, so to speak, begin to work together, relatively so. And in working together, what happens is the heart center, in a mysterious and strange way to some people, comes to the point where suddenly it seems that somewhere along the line you've been given back a little bit of your creative abilities, and you get to the point where you come and realize, I think I'm going to be very careful what I start to think about, because it seems like some of this stuff that I'm thinking about is actually manifesting into physical reality. So in the coming year, this is going to happen. We're going to have a diversity of outcomes for individuals depending upon where they are now in their individual growth and the development of their personality. And if they have become more fluid, obviously, it's very obvious when I say as we drop and change our old belief systems, we have to become more fluid. In order to become more fluid, we have to have a personality that's more mellow, more flexible, more fluid, more flowing, and if you can put it that way, so that more of our creative manifestations can come into play. And I'm going to give you an example, and this example is not done with a sense of criticism, but as an example that I came across the last few days, and I think it exemplifies the point I'm trying to make. So please pay attention to what I'm going to say now. I came across a post on a Facebook group. It was on my, whatchamacallit there, line of feed or wall, whatever the hell you want to call it. And the post was, do you want to be, now how did it go? Let me refresh this down. Would you like to be in an eternal connection with your soulmate or your twin flame forever? And I was very much interested to what I was going to see, because I actually thought that I was going to see some people in the comment section actually say no, they weren't. They had evolved to a point where they didn't see that much more as a, shall we say, emotional expression of love as a belief system expressing through a particular character or an emissary. Now, here's the thing that I'm really want to emphasize to people. And please do not take this the wrong way. Our co-creative powers, as many of you have noticed, are being given back to us. Now, as some of you notice, we're not all on the same page of evolution, and we're not all at, and I hesitate in using the word level, but we're not on the same level of personality development. However, some of you have also noticed that the evolutionary process has now focused itself, and it has been hidden there for a while, and I said this a while ago, in the twin flame experience through the manifestation of what we call relationships, because as we know, the relationships is the fiber of our society. No relationships, no society, period. So it's manifesting in that particular area. So given that, if you're at the stage now where your heart center has continued on and you've noticed you've been given back, as it were, some of the control or some of the focus or direction based on your personality and maturity and fluidity of your belief system flexibility, this is where, and this is a year where you need to be extremely, extremely clear as to what you hold your thoughts on and you see, because what's happening is this. As I've noticed with many people, and I've been doing this for a while, on some of my YouTube videos, what I've been doing is I've been directing discreetly, if you will, or through a meditation, the idea and the thought of when you're going to use the imaginative faculty for any kind of purpose that you directed and you focused towards the heart center chakra. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because if you use the old methods of creation or creativity, for example, I'll give you another example here to explain it. Professional athletes and people who become baseball players, hockey players, anybody who is developing any kind of thing that they want to see manifest, they actually see it in their mind or their head millions and millions of times over the course of months and years. They call it a dream, a vision, whatever you want to call it. And they keep dreaming about it, thinking about it, moving towards it, living their life like they're in it. This timeline for this to come into reality in the old way, it used to take years in many cases for this to happen, or the dream to come true, so to speak. With the activation of the heart center, what I'm trying to say is this timeline is now getting very, very short. And what it means is you're being given back because what has happened, part of the spiritual evolutionary shift that has taken place is down to the fact that your mental body, as some of you have noticed, and your emotional body have changed and evolved. You've gone through development of mental faculties that are different than what you had before. You're presenting a personality that's more mature, more fluid, more flexible, more open, and you're now being given back the power of the use of the heart center chakra. So what's been happening is, and I've known this for a long time, which is why I've been putting up meditations and will continue to do so, of heart center doing things and seeing and visualizing and feeling in the heart center chakra. The reason that I'm doing that is because now what you call the soul self or the higher self, having awakened and activated in every individual that's experienced it, and you have reached a certain point in your development, and each individual will be different, so therefore their challenges will be different, but the application is all the same. The use of certain chakras is being given back to us. The first one is the heart center chakra. The second one will be the emotional chakra or the solar plexus chakra, and that will be coming very, very shortly in the latter part of next year. This is the most important information you're going to be getting. And there will be further chakra giving back you command and use of that chakra through simulations in the dream state to get you ready for it. Some of you have not been understanding a lot of what your dream states are about, but you're about to, in the next year, in the next 3 or 4 years, be given back the access to these particular dimensions, timelines, and realities via these chakras. So first of all, this situation this year, as an example, case in point, is this. You need to start paying attention to when you are, for example, making statements like I just read off, I want to be with my twin flame or my soulmate for eternity. You need to think about that for a moment. You need to think about what kind of belief system are you originating that from? Is this something that you really actually know anything about by saying that kind of a statement? Words have power, and now in this coming year, they're going to have even more power. And some of you will say, well, no, that's what I want. I just want to be with my twin flame, my soulmate forever. Be careful when you say that. Be careful when you see it, because what's happening now is you're being drawn automatically through previous evolutionary process to creating and seeing that in the heart center chakra automatically. That's what's been going on. So the challenge is to coincide this with the development of what your inner self, soul self, actually would like to see manifest for you. But in order to do that, you're at a point now where the two of you have to start working together. It's not about just you, the three-dimensional entity consciousness, creating and manifesting. It's about working with your soul self, call it higher self, whatever label you want, in union with each other and then manifesting it in reality. So be very careful. Don't do something that a lot of people are going to do. You're being given back that aspect of co-creative manifestation. Don't take control of it yourself. Try to make the connection between you, the three-dimensional self, with your belief systems that you've created, and make the connection with your soul self, which is via the heart center. And somebody's going to say, well, how do I do that? I've already given enough information on doing that. I don't need to repeat myself at this point. So when you do this and you're being drawn towards, think about what you're doing. Think about, are you just trying to manifest something from 3D dimensional reality or this timeline? Or are you starting to get to the point where you understand you need to work in union? Remember that word? So many of you want to be in union with another. that you've forgotten the most important union of all is union with yourself. But what is yourself? Yourself is not composed of just you, who you believe to be the controlling factor in three-dimensional reality. So you have these dimensional belief systems in three-dimensional reality that you hang on to. And these are reinforced by associating yourself with groups and or individual who vibrate on that particular same belief system or characteristic within you. So what you need to remember is this. When you do something like I saw in this post, and I saw a whole pile of people posting on it who were all for it, I was very impressed to see that no one made a comment about trying to say why they don't think it's a good idea to do that. I was rather surprised and pleasantly surprised because I didn't see anybody comment. So what it tells me is there are people out there who have reached the point of wisdom and the point of understanding that to be a co-creator is not all about what you think and the belief system manifesting you want to create in this timeline. To say that you want to be with your twin flame forever, for eternity, think about what you're saying. Most of you, first of all, have no idea what eternity is, how long that is. Most of you don't realize something else. I want to mention this point also in this video. I'm going to make this a little shorter video this time around. There is a place called the spiritual planes or the astral planes. Many of you have traveled there. Many of you have seen that each different layer or level of the astral planes is a vibration or a pattern. People that are there all have certain belief systems, habit patterns, functional or dysfunctional. The dysfunctional people go to a dysfunctional vibrational pattern. The functional people go to a functional pattern. So what's happened is the astral planes must collapse, and they're starting to do that. What we do not need is people creating and stimulating the same old pattern. So look at it this way. Let's try to see it this way. I want to be with my twin flame or my soulmate for eternity. So the next day you leave the body, you die. Guess where you're going? You're going to go to a plane of existence that you have created, where you will exist in perpetual reality, permanently, with no one else but your twin flame or your soulmate. And all you'll have around you is other people who have created the same belief system or the same pattern, and that's all they want also. At some point, ladies and gentlemen, especially ladies, we have to come to the realization that the sole purpose in being here in physical reality is not just to be in a relationship with a soulmate or a twin flame. You do not need a soulmate or a twin flame. Those are only labels that express a three-dimensional belief system expression that goes together. Now, somebody's going to ask me, well, if that's the case, Mel, then do you want to be with your twin flame after you leave? No, I don't. I don't expect Nicole and I to be together afterwards. We have fulfilled an agreement, if you will, to do the work what is necessary here, come in and represent the twin flame energy at that particular point. And I don't expect her to be with me, and she doesn't expect me to be with her. And if we're going to go in different directions, that is perfectly fine with me. I will always, always never change how I feel about her in any way, shape, or form. But I don't expect to be with her for eternity. For me, at the level of consciousness that I'm at, to say that, it sounds ridiculous to me. It just doesn't make any spiritual sense at all. It also indicates to me that there is a definite need for people to understand, think carefully before you start seeing things. Take a look at belief systems that you have left. Literally take a look at them. And if you are in a situation where you say it automatically, you feel it automatically, this is what you want to do, It's very deeply ingrained. From my perspective, I look at it this way. I'm sure that there are going to be some people who are going to be a little upset with the comments that I've made on the video. That's okay. I can handle it. My role here is to express to people that you are a free spirit. You wish to explore, you wish to experience for the knowing and the knowledge that you gain from it. Therefore, to have a soulmate or a twin flame or a divine feminine or a divine masculine connection, whatever label you want to call it, is a teaching aid to you and your own individual spiritual growth at this particular point in time. It is to be enjoyed to the maximum. It is fulfilling. It is nurturing. It is helpful. But when you leave here, what are you going to do with the belief system that all you want to do is be in a relationship, if that's what you believe you really want? And Facebook groups, especially twin flame Facebook groups, are full of thousands of people, most of them, 90% of them, all women, and all they want to do is be with their twin flame. Think about that. And then suddenly the next day you leave here and you go to the perspective and the reality that you've created. A whole other bunch of thousands and thousands of women all wanting to be in a vibrational pattern with their twin flame. Should be quite a place, shouldn't it? So what I'm suggesting to you is this: fluidity in your belief systems and the willingness to take a look that when someone hits your button, like me, and I challenge your belief system, don't see me as the enemy. See your belief system as the enemy. I've just stimulated you to take a look at it. How's that grab you? And I will leave you with that to think about. Have a great day, everyone. It was good, wasn't it?